Hello, America. I am at the capital of Made in Minnesota here in Zumbrota, Minnesota. I'm at a place called the Greensted Grocery, and I got to know them when I was leading a company called Good Carts, and we were trying to promote Made in Minnesota brands, and they just came off the farm and came into the big town here and have a storefront, and they invited me to give a little tour, a little Made in Minnesota tour. I'm going to walk you around the store first, and then we're going to ask some questions of Jane here. So these are all from the region, so Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and you've got barbecue sauces and honey from Rochester. I know B-Shed. I just picked up some pizza sauce. It's in my bag. I haven't tried this brand from Iowa before, and I was just stunned. And I'm gonna maybe come back and get a tour of these fibers here, but these different knit or raised wool, and look at this. This is just stunning. And we got 7 Sundays. It's probably one of the biggest Minnesota brands these days on the merge. I got my kids this for Christmas. I know I'm kind of a strange dad, but these were in their stockings. And we go over here, you're gonna see Watkins. I actually grew up in Winona. It's the organic line here. And we got some wild rice. If you've never had canned wild rice and you just quickly want to make some soup, this stuff is actually really good from northern Minnesota. Got some tea and coffee. All right, so last year I discovered through Naturally Minnesota a little grab bag they had on one of their tours, these amazing maple bourbon nuts. And I'm picking up the ginger turmeric ones to try those as well. But these were I did these as stocking stuffers last year, and they are amazing. And we got one of these too. I don't know what this looks like. A little chocolate from. Some of these are from the cities. Zumbrota is like 25 minutes north of Rochester, hour or so south of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Got soaps and some other body care products over here. All right, and we're gonna get a story about these chips here in just a minute. I noticed that that Snowpack, they just got a grant via the, I believe it was USDA money, but through Minnesota's Department of Agriculture to do some expansion. We got ice cream and some brats, and Ferndale is near here. And then here's the famous one, Easton Regenerative Agriculture Circles, Tree Range Farms. Old chicken there. New on the scene is Baba's. They're in Minneapolis. You can get these at large grocery stores in town, in the cities as well. This is one of the creamiest hummuses you'll ever have. Now look at this. So in my local grocery store, it was like $9 a dozen. A small store in Minneapolis the other day, and they were out of all of this brand. They have this brand, right? And so what I noticed is like a lot of the Amish raised eggs, they didn't raise their prices, and people, I don't want to go back from the brown eggs that are often pasture raised, not always, but just amazing. Big fan of kombucha there, and some cheeses. We're working our way around here, whole grain milling, and so now I want to introduce Jane.
Hi.
And you are the owner. Is that right?
The owner of the store.
All right. So tell me give me a little background. I understand there's something in the window you want to show me.
Yes.
So how did you get here?
So my husband and I decided to try growing microgreens as just a hobby, something fun, and they grew and we liked them, and it mushroomed from there until we had a wholesale business started. In the process of going to a lot of vendor events and farmers markets, we met a lot of great producers of a lot of wonderful foods. So when we moved our growing facility to a larger space, for a while we started a little farm store because I really wanted to bring as many local and regional products to our community as I could find.
Now, how many years ago did you first start the farm store then?
The farm store we opened in 2021.
Okay, and how long have you been open here?
Since November 1st.
Okay, so you have there's a few years of
Yes.
curating products that you have come into here, because you've only been here for a month, 2 months.
2.5 months,
So
yeah.
let's go to the window and see what we have there. Meanwhile, we'll have a tour of the flaxseed crackers here. I noticed these were from Minneapolis. All right.
Yes.
So what's growing over here?
So we have, in lieu of growing our own microgreens, we have our microgreen grow kits. So in the kit is literally the same seeds and the same soil and the same process that we use when we grow on a commercial level. So the best thing about the kit is not only is there real seeds and real soil, organic soil, but it has my phone number on the back. If you get stuck, you can call me and I'll talk you through. I had a lot of parents during the pandemic who were looking for extra projects with the kids home, and so I was mailing out grow kits.
I mean, did it actually get the kids to eat their greens?
Eat their greens, or at least be interested in growing. Typically, they'll be done in about 2 weeks. This is the broccoli red cabbage. You can see there's some little purple stems. That would be the red cabbage, and then the
Okay.
broccoli is a little taller.
And
So
that's ready to harvest?
This will be ready to harvest probably in another day or two. I want it. It's
Okay.
still a little too limp. I want to get a little bigger leaf on it.
Uh-huh.
But I've had this in the store in all different areas. We
Okay.
germinate it in a darker room, and then I've had it in the window, I've had it up on the desk, I've had it all over, and it still grows. So if people ask, do I have to have special lights? No, you do not. Just
Now, you had
any light.
explained earlier that maybe you were going to get back into the microgreen business as well, wholesale
Yes,
or...
we are setting up to grow microgreens again. Our customers in our store ask me every day about them.
Uh-huh.
So we will be bringing the microgreens back, hopefully early February, and then we're also setting up to get our wacky salad growing, which
Ooh.
is hugely popular.
That was a kit. Basically, you mix different greens together?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
kinds of leaf lettuces. We grow them a lot like microgreens, except they're on a 3-week schedule. Microgreens are on a 2-week schedule.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get those back because they were very popular.
So I'd like a little explanation of these fibers here, and then we'll talk about the chips over there to
Yeah.
finish off.
So the fibers, I have 2 women who have their own sheep. Get Ben's Farm, Teresa Benz, she has a woolen mill, so she actually can mill her fleece, and then she can commercially spin her yarn. She also makes wonderful felted dryer balls. I have 4 balls I've been using for at least 3 years. They're still
Wow.
just fine. You don't use it; you use them in place of like your dryer sheets,
Mhm.
and you don't have the toxins. And then Teresa will either hand knit with her own yarn or she will machine knit items. So those are from Get Ben's Farm. And then Nancy Ellison, she's a wonderful local fiber arts person. She does everything with fiber. She actually hand spins her yarn. This is hand spun on a hand
And that's
spinner.
the natural color?
And this is the natural color of her sheep. So everything she doesn't dye it. It's her natural
Wow.
sheep color. And they are just beautiful, just in and of themselves. Just wonderful. And then the
Stunning.
hats she makes, of course, by hand with her yarn. And they're just kind of different sizes. You just find one that fits you. I have loved mine. It's really comfortable to wear. It's soft.
Maybe we'll get some snow coming again.
Maybe.
It's mid-January
Yeah.
here, and
I forgot to mention on
you
Teresa's,
need a
they
reason to wear
use
those.
plant-based dyes
Oh, okay.
to color their yarn.
Yep.
She works with another partner who actually grows specific plants for plant dyeing.
That is wonderful. So
It's a wonderful
let's go back over
collaboration.
here. I was looking at the oats here, and I thought, oh, they have some chickpeas that have been grown. And is this Western Minnesota? Did you say or?
Yes, welcome Minnesota.
Welcome Minnesota.
Yep, whole grain milling. We carry they actually roll the oats. These are gluten-free. All of their stuff is gluten-free and all of it is organic. We order in bulk and then package for customers. We have the red kidney beans and the garbanzo beans and the black beans, and then I also have some split peas.
Before I ask you about the chips in the corner here, I did pick up from my wife. Well, it's gone. See, it's so popular. I got the the corn soup
Yes.
here, and just look at these lovely layers in here.
Those are handmade in Shoreview, and
Shoreview.
she actually delivers them to me.
Brings them in person to you.
Brings
Wow.
them in person. She has just these beautiful soups. I've tried most of them. They make about 7 to 8 cups of soup, and they're about 20 minutes to cook. So it's
What's
a
your
really
guesstimate on the percentage of the items that are brought to you by the producer themselves?
either brought or they personally ship it to me?
Yeah.
I would guess at least 50% are actually I'm not going through
Okay.
warehouses. I get it from maybe even higher. These can,
Yeah, exactly. So tell me about. We're on
So-
our way to the chips, but this
Yes.
was very exciting too.
This is very interesting. It's one of my favorite products. So Pickle Creek Herbs is in Fairfield, Iowa. They are chemists by background, and they left big jobs in Chicago and went to back to her family's farm. Her husband grows everything that they use to infuse. So they grow the blueberries, they grow the rosemary, they grow the lemon basil, they grow the raspberries, they grow the shallots. And then she does the infusions, and with her chemistry background and her very sensitive palate, she does an amazing job with these infused olive oils and vinegars. They also, to get their olive oil, they work with small family farms that they source through California, but it's actually small family co-ops.
So let's do the chips. We have another customer. We had to wait a while. She had a nice
Lots of customers.
number of customers coming through, so we want to.
Whole grain milling, again, where we get our bulk items, does these high lysine corn chips. Once you try them, you don't really want any.
You said,
other
oh,
chips.
high lysine.
So
Okay.
it's a higher protein.
Okay.
And the enzymes are also good for digestion.
And
So
at least our understanding is that the farm, do they grow their own corn, or
they
they
grow their own corn and make their own chips.
and make their own chips
Yep.
in western Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay,
And the
so
farmer actually delivers it to me.
and the farmer delivers the chips.
Yes.
So these should be in every store in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I don't know if they are yet or not, but these. Maybe they shouldn't. They should just be at the Greensted. So come to the
should just be at the
Zumbrota. It should
Greensted.
just be at Greensted. I don't want to.
No,
I
that's
don't want to
fine.
break it up.
I know a lot of co-ops also carry them.
Well, I'll let you help your customer. I'm going to go show off my stash here. So I'm getting ready to drive home here. So I got my chips here. All right. And I got my State Line eggs. Now this is interesting. This is from Nordic Creamery cinnamon sugar butter. Apparently it's amazing. Here was the creamy corn chowder that you should all be jealous about. And I got some sausages, and there's my garlic ginger turmeric. So, hey, that was kind of a fun little tour. Big fan of Made in Minnesota. I'm going to share this on the Made in Minnesota LinkedIn group for entrepreneurs that are behind all these kinds of brands. So come on to LinkedIn, search for Made in Minnesota, and you can meet wonderful people like Jane and others that are making Made in Minnesota, Made in Iowa, and Made in Wisconsin something special.
Something special. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
visiting.
Yeah.